What's up, y'all? This is Henny, and this is my initial thoughts on the M1 2021 iPad Pro. Let's talk about it right now. Let's go!
The business.
So yes, I have had this M1 iPad Pro 2021 version for the last few days. And for those of you who are still debating if you want to make a purchase in the M1 iPad Pro or not, what is your boy thinking, right? Let's get into it. So initially, I can tell coming from the 2020 11-inch that this is significantly heavier than my last year's iPad Pro. And I know that a lot of it is the size, right? I got the 12.9, 1 terabyte Wi-Fi in the silver variant with the Magic Keyboard. It's definitely heavier than I expected. I know it's only a little bit heavier on paper, but in real life, coming from the 11-inch to the 12.9 again, it's heavier. Let's just be real. It's heavier for me. But when I turned on the screen and I saw the Liquid Retina HDR display, I was like, man, I made the right decision, because these colors that pop on this screen are insane. A lot of people have already talked about it, but you can just tell, like, editing video, watching movies, really looking at text and other things in such clarity is amazing. It's amazing. So overall, I'm still excited that I got the 12.9 over the 11-inch. So let's get straight into the nitty-gritty and talk performance. Now, of course, I've only had this for, since Friday, and it's Sunday today. So I've been playing around with it. I played around with LumaFusion. I played around with, Beatmaker 3, Cubasis 3, all the apps that I use that I know require a lot of performance. The 16 gigabytes of RAM in this 1 terabyte version is definitely going to give me the performance over time that I'm really, really wanting, because it's not closing any apps, right? Every app stays open. If I'm in Safari, every tab stays refreshed. As far as performance, I took the same edit on LumaFusion on my 2020 iPad Pro and this 2021 iPad Pro, and this one completely blew through that export with no problem. It was a minute file, all shot in 4K. It did it in about 34 seconds, whereas the 2020 iPad Pro did it in about 40 seconds. So, it was about a 5-second difference for a 1-minute video. So from a power aspect over the last 3 days, it's been killing everything that I throw at it. And I expected that to happen, because literally every M1 device that I've tested has been doing the same thing. It's just killing it in the performance category. So what can I say? It exceeded my expectations on performance so far. I also tried the center stage feature, and that's awesome as well. Being able to track my face wherever I'm at in a FaceTime call and a Zoom call. So that's been fun. That's been great to see. And I'm really hoping that they bring that to the new iPhones coming later this year, because I think a lot of people will enjoy that when they're doing FaceTime, Zooms, and everything on their phones, just as much as they're doing on their iPads. So it's going to be great. Most of my Zoom calls I take with this camera right here, and I do it just like this. So that's not something that I'm going to be doing every day. But for most people that use their iPads for FaceTime calls, Zoom calls, Meet calls, whatever it is, it's going to be awesome to be able to move around and to be able to follow you. So having Thunderbolt instead of USB Type-C has been great as well. I use my CalDigit Thunderbolt dock to be able to, transfer photos and videos super fast onto the new iPad Pro. And, I can tell that being able to hook up way more things, way more peripherals, being able to hook up multiple MIDI keyboards, all of these things, and still have great transfer speeds with the hard drives that I plug into it, it's going to be awesome. But yet I'm still waiting to see what happens at WWDC, as I really hope we get better functionality with the Files app, better functionality with the overall iPad OS, when you have so much power. We'll have to see what happens in the next week or so. As far as sound goes, I didn't see a big difference in sound quality of anything coming directly from the iPad Pro as it relates to the difference between the 2020 model that I have. So the sound is still good, still has the 4 speakers, and still has, great volume for what it is. But the screen on this 12.9 is a game changer. When you can see things so crystal clear, it makes editing photos, it makes editing video, it makes watching movies so insane. So that is a big upgrade, and probably the biggest upgrade this year in this iPad Pro. It's the screen. And if you are getting the 11-inch you're gonna see a lot of performance, specifically if you're coming from the 2018 model or older. But I'm telling you, this screen on this 12.9, you just have to see it to believe just how crispy it is. It's very, very crispy, let's be real. But overall, I'm pretty much impressed with this so far. I knew what I was getting myself into. I know that it's very expensive to upgrade year after year. But for somebody who reviews these products and uses this as my main device every day, it was worth the investment for me to get this 2021 model. Yes, it is a lot heavier. If I could have got the XDR Retina display in the 11-inch, I would have got that, no problem. I didn't opt for the 5G version. I don't necessarily need 5G in my iPad. It's very easy for me to use the hotspot on my iPhone 12 Pro Max, so I don't necessarily need that. But honestly, I'm really waiting to see what's going to happen in the next week with WWDC and the updates to the software. That's what's going to be the game changer or the complete letdown of this generation of the iPad Pro, because it's just too powerful at this point not to get some powerful updates that's going to allow us to do so much more with this. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Let me know your thoughts if you pick one up, if you're still on the fence about it. I'd love to hear your comments down below in the comments section. And yeah, if you got any more questions for me about this device, about what I've played with so far, feel free to hit me up and let me know that as well. This is just my initial thoughts. I got so much more coming when it comes to this iPad Pro. So if you're not subscribed, you might as well go ahead and do that right now, because it's about to get hot and heavy. You already know what it is. But yes, this is the iPad Pro 2021, and these are my initial thoughts. Once again, I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, and I hope you have a great start to your week. I'll catch you in the next one. Hit 'em out!